Now, Grant Cardone built his life the same way he built his brand, from the ground up, then high enough to see it from a jet window. Scroll his Instagram and it's jets, suits, skyscrapers, and a smile that says he already closed the deal. With a $600 million net worth, the real estate mogul and sales coach has turned self-promotion into an art form and a revenue stream. Some call it flashy. He calls it proof. From oceanfront mansions to a Gulf Stream that doubles as his mobile office, Cardone's lifestyle runs on scale. Grander properties, wider audiences, higher stakes. Once you see how he actually lives, those 10x quotes stop sounding like hype and start looking like the blueprint. And like any good salesman, Grant knows the best way to prove you're winning is to let your address do the talking. Cardone doesn't just buy houses, he buys headlines. Case in point, his Golden Beach, Florida mega mansion. 7 bedrooms, 12 bathrooms, a private gym, theater, and a pool that melts right into the Atlantic horizon. It hit the market at a jaw-dropping $42 million, and in true Cardone fashion, he listed it not just through a realtor, but on a blockchain platform. Because why sell a home the normal way when you can turn it into a tech story too? He's not shy about California either. In 2022, Cardone dropped $40 million on a 10,000 square foot stunner right on Carbon Beach, better known as Billionaire's Row. 7 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, and panoramic views that pull the Pacific into your living room. Also enough outdoor space for those signature work from anywhere videos. Even when he sells, it's a flex. One Malibu property went for the kind of money most people would retire on. But the real play is his commercial portfolio. Through Cardone Capital, he controls over $4 billion in assets. Luxury apartment complexes, high-end multifamily developments, and prime rentals across the U.S. It's the perfect loop. His personal brand sells the dream, and his properties cash the checks. Of course, a guy who preaches think bigger isn't parking a Honda in the driveway. For Cardone, horsepower comes in more than one form. Grant has a simple rule for buying the flashy stuff. Don't do it until your passive income can pay for it in full, which is why, when he finally pulled the trigger, he went straight to the top shelf. On 4 wheels, that means high-end luxury and exotic muscle. His garage has hosted a Rolls-Royce Cullinan costing about $350,000, a Bentley Flying Spur at $210,000, and a Ferrari 488 Spider priced close to $300,000. They're not daily drivers. They're rolling billboards for the 10X lifestyle. But the real flex lives at 45,000 feet. Cardone owns a Gulfstream G650, one of the fastest, longest-range private jets in the world. Price tag? Around $65 million before you even fuel it. Inside, it's all cream leather, polished wood, and Wi-Fi fast enough to run a live webinar from the sky. And when a jet feels like overkill, he's got a personal helicopter on standby, perfect for hopping from Miami to his business meetings without touching traffic. Plus, just to keep things interesting, he's been known to dabble in boats and water toys when the Florida heat kicks in, because in Cardone's world, downtime still comes with a view worth selling. Now, all that steel, leather, and jet fuel doesn't pay for itself, and Cardone's not the type to gamble it all on one income stream. His fortune comes from an empire that's as diversified as it is aggressive. Grant built his brand on the idea that the average millionaire isn't thinking big enough, so he went bigger. At the core is Cardone Capital, his real estate investment firm that manages over $4 billion worth of multifamily properties across the U.S. These aren't small duplexes. We're talking sprawling apartment complexes that generate steady rental income month after month. Cardone Capital isn't just about buying properties. It's about buying the right properties. Then there's the sales training empire, the part most people first encounter. From the 10X rule to sell or be sold, his programs have turned into a global franchise of workshops, online courses, and consulting gigs. This isn't a side hustle. It's a second pillar of revenue, and his media presence keeps it constantly in motion. And if you want a symbol of his scale, look no further than the 10X Growth Conference. It's not your average business seminar. It's a stadium-filling spectacle featuring celebrities, pyrotechnics, and tens of thousands of paying attendees. It's a machine that turns attention into cash, and cash into assets. So, when you run an empire the size of Cardone's, you don't exactly clock out at 5 p.m. His mornings often start early, sometimes before sunrise, with workouts and strategy sessions. The man treats time like a currency, one he refuses to waste. His travel schedule reads more like a touring musician's than a business executive's. One week he's in Miami, the next he's walking stages in London or Dubai. Private jets aren't just a luxury here. They're a time machine that lets him be in 3 cities in 2 days if the deals demand it. But even with the non-stop movement, Cardone's routine is built around visibility. Every trip becomes content. Every meeting can turn into a video clip. He's constantly feeding the brand, whether it's through Instagram Reels, live streams, or podcast appearances. And right in the middle of it all is his family, his wife, Elena, and their 2 daughters, Sabrina and Scarlett. Charlotte, often joining him on the road, turning business trips into family adventures. For him, lifestyle isn't something separate from business. It's the marketing department in motion. Oceanfront dinners, luxury hotels, and family moments play out in the same spotlight as the boardroom wins. And while Cardone's lifestyle screams excess, there's another side to the story. The jets, the stages, the media spotlight, they're also tools he uses to push causes he believes in. Because for all the money he's made, he's built just as big a reputation for how he gives it away. The Grant Cardone Foundation isn't some quiet side project. It's a full-on machine aimed at youth financial literacy, mentorship, and entrepreneurship. He's poured resources into programs that reach kids from underprivileged backgrounds, giving them the kind of money and mindset training he says he wishes he had growing up. You'll see him on YouTube handing out scholarships, showing up at schools, and pushing his "anyone can 10x" message to the next generation. But Cardone's public moves don't stop with charity. He's not shy about wading into political waters, sometimes head first. In 2023, he filed a $100 million defamation suit against former T-Mobile CEO John Legere, a move that made headlines well beyond the business press. He's spoken directly to kids in juvenile detention centers, brought in experts to teach real-world finance, and even mentored young entrepreneurs who've gone on to launch profitable ventures. For Cardone, success isn't just measured by net worth, but by how many lives he can pull upward with him. He's also been an open supporter of Donald Trump, hosting fundraisers and even contributing to efforts supporting Trump's legal defense. Whether you see it as loyalty, strategy, or just more branding, it's part of the bigger Cardone playbook. Stay visible, stay vocal, and stay in the conversation. Now, you don't build an empire without a few people throwing stones, sometimes boulders. Grant has faced his share of critics, and some of it has gotten ugly. In 2021, he was hit with a $1 million class action lawsuit from investors claiming he misled them about returns on Cardone Capital deals. The case was eventually dismissed, but not before headlines painted him as the villain in a Wall Street cautionary tale. Then there's his social media presence, raw, unfiltered, and sometimes just plain controversial. Clips of him making bold and occasionally absurd sales claims have gone viral for all the wrong reasons. Even his high-pressure sales style has its critics. Some call it motivational genius. Others, they see it as manipulative marketing dressed in expensive suits. At the end of the day, Grant is either the boldest self-made success story of our time, or the ultimate salesman selling himself. He's built an empire out of confidence, cash flow, and calculated risk, and he's made sure you know every bit of it. Private jets, oceanfront mansions, an exotic car fleet, none of it's quiet, and that's by design. Cardone doesn't just live big, he lives loud. But peel back the flashy Instagram posts, and you see a guy who actually walks his talk. He bets on himself, reinvests relentlessly, and stays unapologetically in control of the narrative. He's turned attention into currency, and currency into legacy. Love him or hate him, he's proof that playing it safe never made anyone unforgettable. Whether you think he's a genius or a grifter, there's one fact you can't deny. He's made sure you'll never forget the name Grant Cardone.